Did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? Did the snack kick in already? If not, get ready, cause it's coming. Yeah. Did you smoke today? Have you yet put something on your stomach? Did the snack kick in already? If not, get ready, cause it's coming. I'm so woke, I'll never sleep again. You learn real quick to be your own best friend. Expectations lead to heartbreak. That's what broke all of my faith. But now that I know that it's just life.
What is up, you guys? Today we're coming to you with another video. All my Bonita viewers, welcome. Okay, so today we're going to start with a true crime video. Now this will be my third true crime video today, and I watched another Lifetime movie. Now you know, you guys, I love to watch the Lifetime movies back in the day, and I'll do my research to see if too many people have covered this story, because if it's too many people, I'm not going to do it. So I came up to this movie called Too Young to Die. And it starred Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis. And it was based on a story about this girl named Attina Cannaday. Now, this story makes you mad. So mad. So mad. Okay, let me quit, darling. Let me quit. Let me quit all of that. Okay, because we're gonna have to get on our compassionate side today, because this is just a story where somebody was influenced and it just was terrible. And yeah. So let's get to the story. Basically, Miss Attina Cannaday had a very tumultuous childhood. She was raped by her father, and she was married at the age of 13, I think, to a 25-year-old guy who was in the service, if I'm not mistaken, and was divorced by 14. So at that point in time, when she divorced her husband, she was alone in the world. Her parents had moved on to another state and didn't tell her anything. Obviously, they wanted to be rid of her and not have to take care of her anymore. But, you know, I feel like she was in one of those situations where she probably told her mother that her father raped her, and the mother chose the father over the child, which is sad, because this young girl is not even yet developed, and she has to grow up so fast and learn about the people in the world and how shisty and fucked up they can be. So it's a lot. Just to let you know, guys, I am going to be reading some of this information to you guys, because like I said, my memory is not that good to where I can remember every detail to the T. So, you know, I don't want to miss anything, and I don't want you guys to miss anything. So, of course, I'm going to read some of this information. I said some. Yeah, come on now. Come on now. Give me a break. Give me a break. I'm going to read some of this information to you guys. But I do say that in the movie, they did dramatize it on the last part, because they had sentenced her to the death penalty. And, of course, at the end of the movie, they have her walking to, you know, her death. But she didn't die. She didn't get killed. So that's a good thing. I'm just letting you know, in the movie, it portrayed it like that. So this young lady, you know, she was just a young girl just trying to make it in the world. And, you know, she just wanted love, most of all. Her parents didn't give it to her. And it's like everybody she meets just used her and threw her away. Like, it's just sad. And it's like, they said that, after she divorced, Cannaday worked as a sex worker and a dancer. And it says Cannaday was said to be handicapped due to her IQ of 71. So you're dealing with a young girl who has an IQ of 71, which means sometimes, and I don't know about people with different IQs and stuff, but, you know, a lot of people, no matter what their IQ, don't know what people's intentions are. And that's, you know, that happens to a lot of people. It doesn't necessarily have to do anything with your IQ. But yeah. So I'm just looking for the details of how she met the person, because there is going to be a person who's murdered in this story. So yeah. So let's skip over to her meeting the guy. So at this point in her life, she, you know, was dancing in bars and working as a prostitute. So, you know, it'd be certain guys she'd meet. And it was also a man that she knew named David Gray. So she's dancing in bars. Of course, David Gray befriended her and actually used her to prostitute for him and dance to make money off of her. Like, literally, she is, 14 years old and dancing in these bars. Like, she's very well underage. How did people even allow that? You have a bar full of adults and nobody is trying to understand or get this girl out of here, you know, even figure out why she's here dancing. Like, why is society and people so fucked up? Like, bars be packed with adults, but you mean to tell me out of all those bars she had been to, nobody found it in their heart to just take this girl to the police station or to a shelter? Like, really? So it says that Miss Cannaday was an Alabama runaway from a broken home at the age of 13 who married and divorced at age 14. She worked in numerous bars in Gulfport and Biloxi as a dancer and barmaid and supplemented her income by prostitution. Cannaday met Wosick at, I'm believing this J is silent, Wosick, at the bar, the sports page bar, where he moonlighted after his duties at the Keesler Air Force Base. So this is a guy that was in the Air Force. He was in the service. So it says Wosick was divorced from his wife, but frequently kept his 2 children of his marriage. Cannaday began living with Wosick, and their ostensibly, because I like to pronounce stuff correctly, ostensibly conducted themselves as a married couple for several weeks until he learned her true age. Realizing that the military disapproved of his relationship, Wosick required Cannaday to move. Shortly after, Wosick found a new girlfriend, Sandra Swash. Oh, wow, that's so sad. So, obviously, this man that she met was very good to her. Yes, and his full name was Ronald Wosick. So obviously he was a nice man in the service who was a divorced man and took care of his 2 children. So amongst all of that, basically they were living in common law marriage for several weeks, as they said. And, you know, Attina, she got used to it. And she fell in love with this man. So, of course, Ronald did not know her actual age. That's what they're saying. I'm hoping he didn't know her actual age, but you know, like I said, I don't have any, it didn't have any pictures to show, you know, how old she really looked. Because if you're dressing the part, sometimes it's really hard to tell whether somebody's a teenager or not. So she maybe had been dressing the part for real, for real. So, yeah. So basically they were living together for several weeks, and Ronald probably had really grown fond of her. And once he found out that she was a minor and the people in the service, they were not having that, you know, he told her that she had to leave. And of course, that made her upset because all this young lady wanted was somebody to love her. Literally. All she wanted was love. But I feel like maybe if she had just asked for help or something, maybe he could have spoken to someone in the service to help her. Because, like, come on. I feel like even after he told her to leave, that he could have at least gotten someone to help the young lady. Because she's already living a tumultuous life that's so toxic that no one should be living that type of lifestyle. You know? It's just, you know, more I read into it, it gets me mad. Oh, that's sour. So, on May 1982, Cannaday met with a man named John Cooper, who was an acquaintance of Wosick. Cannaday told Cooper that she had caught Wosick and Swash in the bed together, and had threatened to kill Wosick if she had caught them again. Cannaday denied the threat, but admitted discussing the situation with Cooper. Cooper advised Wosick of the threats, but he seemed not to be bothered. Wosick did tell Cooper that on the night before, May 21st, Cannaday showed up outside his apartment yelling obscenities. Okay. So she was upset, of course. I mean, I would have been upset too. But at the same time, she was lying to this man about her age. So what do you do when you put in a situation like that? Not me. If I was Ronald, I would have, if I had found out, I would have at least gotten her some help. You know, because she don't have any type of stability. Like, she's alone. Nobody's realizing that. So, yeah. On June 1st, 1982, Cannaday made a phone call to a friend, Gina Paycole. During that conversation, she expressed her love for Wosick, but also expressed a desire to kill him. Cannaday lived at several locations after her removal from Wosick's apartment. She became a friend with David Gray, an unemployed man who lived out his automobile. They discussed Cannaday's feelings for Wosick and her dislike for Swash, who Swash is, they really don't give her her first name, and that's probably because she probably don't want to be known on a first name basis. But that is the young lady that Ronald Wosick is in a relationship with now, which is why Attina is so upset. So, on the night of June 2nd, the day preceding this crime, Cannaday was at the Red Garter Lounge at Buena Vista Hotel. She and David Gray drank and danced. Both were fairly intoxicated. I'm going to finish eating this right quick because I'm finding my mouth gets really watery and I start spitting everywhere when I'm talking. So, yeah, I'm going to finish this. Ew, a piece of hair. Mm. Okay, the food break is over now. Now we continue what we're doing, okay? So, okay, and Gray had smoked some marijuana. Also at the lounge was Dawn Bushhart, a girl Cannaday referred to as the ugly fat girl. Her name was not known until after the crime. Whoa. Bushhart joined Cannaday and Gray. As the lounge was closing, Cannaday asked Gray if he would go with her to her old man's apartment with her to get her in the van and some clothes. What? Wait a minute. Go to her old man's apartment with her to get her van and some clothes. Oh, okay. So I'm saying get in the van. Get on the bus. Get on the bus. I ain't got no time talking all that. Okay, so back to the story. Okay. Gray's story, which is him telling his part of the story, was that Cannaday wanted him to beat Wosick to scare him and further to kill him, which he refused. Cannaday denied that, denied asking Gray if he had a gun. Gray did not have a gun, but took 4 knives from his car. As Cannaday put in the case, we got picked up by a nut. Since Gray's car was not operative, the 3, Cannaday, Gray, and Bushhart, hitchhiked westward. Someone picked them up and took them to a point near Wosick's apartment. Wow. Y'all doing all this to kill this man? Come on. Come on now. I really feel like this story, like, if she loved this man that much, why would she want him dead? I believe somebody else wanted him dead, and I believe that was David Gray. The reason why I say that is because he was using her for income. This man was living out his car, okay? So, if you got a young lady who really don't have nobody in the world, and she's doing what she can to make a living, and you doing the same, and you being nice to her, trying to show her a little compassion, and of course all she's looking for is love, of course she's going to do what you ask her to do. Seeing Wosick's white van, Cannaday knew he was home. They approached the apartment, and Gray gave Bushhart a knife and Cannaday a black-handled knife. Gray kept the butcher knife and a 4th knife, which was strapped to his belt. Gray ordered Bushhart to stand out the front porch. Like, do you need that many knives? Really? And according to Cannaday's story, which is Attina, she just wanted to scare him. I mean, it's 2 different stories, but it's like, I don't know. Okay, Cannaday and Gray entered the apartment. The testimony was disputed as to whether the door was unlocked or whether Cannaday had a key. I think she had a key because she used to live there. Like, or maybe he had the locks changed. You never know. Cannaday gave her knife to Gray and entered Wosick's bedroom while Gray remained in the living room. Wosick and Sandra Swash. Okay, there's her name. Her name is Sandra Swash. Were asleep in the bed as Cannaday entered. The scene that transpired at the apartment was destructive and forceful. The encounter ended with Wosick and Swash being forced at knife point to get into Wosick's van. Wosick's 2 children were asleep in the other room, were left behind. As they were leaving the apartment, Cannaday picked up the wallet belonging to Wosick. So they left the kids at home, and they barged into the apartment and took Ronald Wosick and Sandra Swash out of the bedroom at night point and made them get into the van. So with Cannaday driving, a 14-year-old driving, her life was just so illegal and nobody did nothing. Nothing. They proceeded westward along the US 90 at pretty fast rate of speed. After making a right turn off the US 90, Cannaday attempted to race an approaching train, but moments before getting to the tracks, Wosick grabbed the wheel and prevented the collision with the train. Gray told Bushhart that if Wosick moved again to cut him. Both Gray and Swash stated that Cannaday suggested that Gray have sex with Swash. Gray forced Swash to have sexual relations with him while Cannaday continued to drive. Are you serious? Okay, now this story is getting sick. This story is getting sick. I need something to drink, y'all. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, let's make this quick, cause this getting crazy. Okay, after making several turns, Cannaday decided to stop on a gravel road known as Lampkin Road, somewhere north of Biloxi. Gray got out of the van and forced Wosick out. Wosick urged Cannaday to discuss the situation with him, but Cannaday refused. Gray had the butcher knife and the other strapped to his belt. There was a conflict as to who had the black-handled knife, Swash saying that Cannaday had it, and Cannaday saying that Bushhart had it. Really? Now they're arguing over who's got the black-handled knife. And why is Sandra saying something instead of trying to get away? I don't know. Like, as I'm reading this, is kind of getting kind of bizarre. So, yeah. But this happened in real life. So, like, they have detail by detail. But this is just like, well. Okay. Back to the story. Yeah. Back to the story. Yeah. Gray forced Wosick into the woods. This was the last time Wosick was seen alive. Ronald Wosick. So Ronald Wosick really was a victim in this, because number one, he was lied to about this young lady's age, and she felt so comfortable with him. He probably made her feel safe, and once her safe haven was taken away from her because she was lying about her age, this man had to move on with his life because he had children to take care of. And after that happened, she got mad and wanted to kill him. Wow. I mean, like me, my mind is going 2 different directions. I feel like her head was filled up by this man, David Gray. Then again, maybe she did want to kill him because of how he, didn't want to be with her anymore. But at the same time, I'd have to agree with Ronald, because this man has a whole career and a family he has to take care of. And, he doesn't want to get in any trouble because he's with a minor. Come on now. He got kids to raise. And it's sad that, these kids lost their daddy. So at this point, the facts are sharp in dispute. David Gray's testimony denied any stabbing of Wosick. His version of the events was that after entering the woods, Gray was distracted by Cannaday, who had shouted his name. Wosick took this opportunity to hit Gray, and a fight occurred. Gray overpowered Wosick, but had dropped the knife during the fight. After hitting Wosick until he was nearly unconscious, Gray began looking for his knife. As he was looking, Cannaday walked up and advised him that Swash had run away and that she had thrown the knife at her. Gray found his knife and Cannaday asked for it. Gray gave Cannaday the knife and left her in the woods as he walked back to the van. At the van, Gray smoked a cool cigarette, but was later found several feet from a place where the van was thought to have been. It was Gray's belief that when he left Wosick in the woods, Wosick was still alive. When Cannaday returned to the van, she did not have a knife. She said nothing happened and they left. Wow. To the contrary, however, it was Cannaday's version that she never went into the woods but stayed at the van with Swash and Bushheart the entire time. Also, it was Bushheart who threw the knife at Swash as Swash was escaping. Cannaday testified that Gray had blood on his clothes and on the knife upon returning to the van. She thought that he killed Wosick. Gray became upset when he discovered that Swash had gotten away. The three left in the van and went to Slidell, Louisiana, with Cannaday driving. While driving, Gray discarded his bloody t-shirt upon arrival at the store near Slidell. Cannaday bought a black t-shirt, which she put over her red and pink jumpsuit. Cannaday and Gray went to the residence of Miss Mildred Page Robinson and her son Timothy Page, acquaintances of Cannaday, and when Cannaday and her ex-husband lived in the nearby trailer park. Yeah, they did live in a trailer park when she was younger. Wow. That's crazy, y'all. That's crazy. Paige noticed Cannaday had a black t-shirt pulled over her jumpsuit. He did not notice any blood on Cannaday. Cannaday told him that they had come from a party and asked for some cut-off jeans to wear. Cannaday removed her red and pink jumpsuit and placed it in water to soak. Cannaday's explanation for this was that she had started her menstrual period, and as a result of the outfit needed to be soaked. Paige did not notice any blood stains on one of Gray's... Paige did notice blood stains on one of Gray's arms and one of his pants legs. Gray was not wearing a shirt. After talking with Miss Robinson for a few moments, Cannaday went to sleep. She did not bathe or clean up before going to sleep other than wash her red and pink outfit. Gray and Paige got into the van and left to search for a keg of beer. So you want to go out and drink beer after you done killed this man and left him in the woods. So, returning to the scene of the crime, Sandra Swash was able to notify the Harrison County Sheriff's Department. Oh, shit. See, I think the plan was... I'm sorry if I keep popping my mouth because I'm trying to keep the saliva from coming out forward, you know. So basically, the plan really was for them to kill her too, but she got away. Thank the Lord. Thank God, because they will be able to get justice for this man now. So she notified the Harrison County Sheriff's Department. At sunrise, the body of Wosick was found with 19 stab wounds in the face, neck, chest, and back areas, laying in the bushy wooded area of 50 feet from the road. However, the butcher knife was never found. "19 stab wounds. 19! 19 stab wounds. A detailed description of the white van was given by Squash, as well as the name of Attina Cannaday as a participant, which we call her Attina, but maybe she went by Attina Cannaday. As a participant, Wosick's wallet was found on the highway near Sidell. So basically, they used his wallet to buy shit. I mean, they used his money out of his wallet to buy shit when they fled the scene. Wow, savages. Lord have mercy. They notified the Louisiana authorities to be on the lookout for the white van and occupants. In Louisiana, the white van was spotted. Gray and Timmy Page were arrested. Why did y'all arrest Timmy? Of course, because he's in the van, but I don't, they're fresh off of the crime scene. So basically they're saying anybody who's in the van, they could be a suspect too. So we got to take him in too. Information obtained from Page that other information led the police to Miss Robinson's home, where Cannaday was asleep. She was awakened, arrested, and warned of her constitutional rights. Investigators Al Herman of the state Tammany Sheriff's Department seized the outfit that Cannaday had put in the sink. The water had already drained out, and Herman noticed no blood on the clothing. Articles of jewelry later identified as belonging to Swash and Wosick were also discovered. Cannaday was placed in the sheriff's car for transportation to the St. Tammany Sheriff's Department. At that point in time, she had been twice warned of her Miranda rights. During the ride in the car, Cannaday made unsolicited statements that Gray had used the knife to kill Wosick and that she saw Gray grasp Wosick's hair and pull his head back and cut his throat. Okay, disclaimer. And I should have did a disclaimer in the beginning of the video, but like I said, you guys, I was going to be reading this to you, so I will make sure that pops up because we already got a nasty part before the disclaimer. But if this is too much for you, and I'll mention it in the tag part where you can skip all the gory details if you don't like to hear about stuff like this, but it's giving detail by detail by detail on what happened to this man and what this man did to him or this young lady. So yeah, I'm sorry. Like I said, my memory is not that good, so therefore I have to read everything in detail so you guys will know the exact story of what happened. Okay, so let's get back to it. So after arriving at the station, Attina Cannaday was criminally charged. In the presence of Harrison County officers Martin and Johnson, she gave a 14-page statement concerning her involvement in the crime, which story she also reflected upon at trial. Upon the waiver of extradition, Cannaday and Gray were returned to Mississippi. After hitchhiking back from Louisiana, Bushart was arrested while walking along the Highway 90 in Harrison County. So basically, she was trying to get away. She was trying to run on by because she knew a murder was committed, and maybe she probably wasn't even the one who committed it. She was just there and doing, the heinous, kidnapping. But either way, she still at fault too. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. After incarceration, Cannaday stated to Officer Warden that she believed she was pregnant and that Wosick was the father. She stated that she had not had a menstrual period for 3 months. Okay, then why you lie about your jumpsuit then? It didn't have blood on it, but you was complaining about it was because of menstrual periods that you soaked it. Okay, that sounds about right. Officer Jimmy Wren confirmed that a pregnancy test was given to Miss Cannaday, which was negative. Cannaday explained that the officers misunderstood her statements concerning her periods. She stated that she had missed 2 periods prior to June 3rd, but on that day of her arrest, her menstrual period had started. Blood tests made by Larry Turner of Mississippi State Crime Lab indicated that both Wosick and Gray had type B blood. Blood spots were found on Gray's pants were type B type blood. Turner also tested the red and pink jumpsuit, which was worn by Cannaday. Those tests revealed that the enzyme paradoxin in 6 areas, which indicated possible blood traces. The stains, however, were sufficient to get a blood type. There were no traces in the crotch area of the clothing. Turner said that the finding of small traces was consistent with the garment having been washed. So she knew what she was doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all can't necessarily say, oh, she was disabled because she had an IQ of 71. No. Her IQ ain't got shit to do with this. She was just a young girl who was very much manipulated, okay? But she was smart, okay? Cannaday, Gray, and Bushhart were indicted for capital murder for the kidnapping and homicide of Wosick, but tried separately. Wow. David Gray's trial proceeded. Canadays after his conviction, Gray testified against Cannaday and maintained his position of innocence of any murder. Bushhart claimed the constitutional privilege against self-incrimination and did not testify in either of the trials. She later pled guilty to manslaughter. Attina Marie Cannaday was found guilty of capital murder and sentenced to death. So she was sentenced to death, but they felt that the sentence was too inappropriate. They felt that the sentence was inappropriate given the misuse of Cannaday's statement to the jailer, Cannaday's age, and the fact that Gray, who physically committed the murder, was sentenced to death himself. In 1984, Cannaday was resentenced to 2 25-year life sentences. The state granted Cannaday parole in 2008. Cannaday's crimes and subsequent trial are inspiration for the 1990 TV Too Young to Die. I stated that in the beginning of the story, so you know. So basically, like we said, in the movie, it showed that she was walking to her, death penalty, but they overturned it because this girl was nothing but like probably 15 at the time now, and they was going to give a 15-year-old the death penalty. So basically, the trial was really set on to see who was innocent and who committed the murder. We later find out that David was the one who committed the murder. Of course, because he had most of the evidence on him, okay? And with her being in the car with David, some of that blood could have transferred over to her outfit, which is why she was so persistent with trying to clean it. Or maybe she could have had some hand in putting a wound on that man's body. But, either way, It's still not right to kill people. Ugh, what is that? Ugh. It's not right to kill people. But this young lady was influenced by people who were much older than her. You know, like I said, this girl just wanted love. And maybe she did go a little overboard with, you know, the threatening. But maybe somebody who was willing to manipulate the situation just took it and ran with it to eliminate this man. I don't really think she wanted to eliminate him. But, you know, you never know. People gonna keep their mouth shut when it comes to somebody getting killed because they want to cover their ass. But at the same time, you still have to live with it. You know, this girl had a hard life too. Like, and now she's just, you know, in jail. I think she's out of jail now because she was out on parole in 2008. That's been years ago. Years ago, about 13 years. She's probably been out for 13 years. But, you know, I'm upset. I'm highly upset and disturbed about how all of this happened and that this man got taken away from his kids and killed the way that he was killed. But, you know, and with all that, I am so sorry. I am deeply sorry to the family of Ronald Wosick. If I pronounce his name wrong, I am so sorry. I will make sure I have pictures up of him with him and his kids. You know, it's just really sad because, you know, I feel like a lot of things in this situation could have been avoided. And, you know, if somebody just took this girl in their arms and just held her and loved her the right way, and not only that, get her some help. I mean, she is a teenager and she's on her own. And that's nothing but leeway for people to get in her head and manipulate her to do stupid things like this. You know? And in the movie, it even showed that she was drugged. And, you know, you never know. She could have been thinking these thoughts, but she didn't really want to react on them. But when you're under the influence of drugs and marijuana wouldn't do that to you. No. Marijuana, alcohol, and drugs, then you do stupid stuff. Like I said, it's no validation for this man being killed and taken away from his kids. But at the same time, this story was really pretty much a manipulation of a young lady who harbored these feelings and told these feelings, and somebody who, you know, was of greater stance and knowing of certain things, wanted to eliminate this man, not for her, but for them. Because you see, if she's still hung up on Ronald, how's she gonna make money for David? How's she gonna keep prostituting for him when she want this man? And she want to be in his life. She ain't paying no mind to him. So that would be a reason why David would have wanted to get rid of Ronald. So with all that being said, this was the story of Attina Marie Cannaday, David Gray, and Ronald Wosick. I hope you guys take into consideration that there are people out there going through these real life situations. And if you feel in your heart that that person is going through something, do what you can to help them. I'm not telling you to take all your money out of your wallet and give it to them. No. If you can call a hotline, take them to a church. Some churches are always willing to help somebody to get a roof over their head and food in their belly and clothes on their back. Because my church personally, Faith Chapel Christian Center, y'all can look them up because we in more than one state. They are always on the jump when it comes to people needing help. So with that being said, I just wanted to touch base on this story for people who had not known about it, and for the people who do know about it, to refresh them, to, you know, even though, even though this young lady is out of jail now, it's a million more out there that's going through that same situation that she went through. And of course, we can't save all of them, but we can do our best to be a blessing to them, to try to do whatever we can to help them in the best way possible, to encourage them to go for something that is not bad. Reach for God. You know, it's not easy being alone in this world. I don't know what it's like to be alone in the world. And you have some people who have close-knit families and still feel alone. But, I refuse to feel that way, because it's people out there who literally don't have any fucking body. So I'm hoping that this was able to help a lot of you out there. And if it's somebody out there like you, like Attina, that is going through this and you're watching this right now, if you need help, just call somebody. Don't be too proud to ask for help. My first place to go to if I was in that situation would be either to the hospital, to a church, to a community center, to a shelter, anywhere where I know people are going to have open arms and is willing to help me. So, this story is to shed light on people, young ladies and young men that are going through things like that out there in this world, who are alone, who don't have nobody. So that was my true crime story. Make sure you guys go to YouTube to watch the movie Too Young to Die, starring Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis. To, if you don't want to see this video or describe it every detail, then you can just watch the movie, okay? So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. May you all be blessed and be a blessing to everybody that comes your way, especially if they're going through something. You may not know, but, excuse me, some people have that inkling sometimes that the person they're faced with is going through something. So, even if you don't know, just be nice, just to be nice. Just give back, just to give back. Pay it forward, okay? So, all my Bonita viewers, mwah, I love you all. All my new viewers, mwah, I love you all as well. If you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you click that notification bell to, be updated on every video that I put up, okay? So I'm going to be looking for my next true crime story. And like I said, I hope you guys are enlightened by this story. So, yeah, we are over and